been so long.
Good morning here in the hills of Zinaria in Jos Plateau State, Nigeria, with a very chill weather of about 21.5 degrees Celsius. It is Monday, the very first day of the second week of December 2024. And if you can hear my voice this morning, then it means you're still rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. This morning we are going to be taking you on this very informative and educative ride as usual. You know how we do this in the studio every day: Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and of course Fridays. This program is done every day, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Today is not an exception. We are going to be taking you on this very informative ride, and I would want you to sit right there and pay attention and be part of this very movement, as I am Michael Pedro, and I'm going to be your anchor this morning. And as usual, I am not alone. I am with me in the studio an erudite analyst, one who is going to lend his voice to the cause of humanity, one who pushes for the cause of women and children, no matter what it takes, providing it is legal and it is done in the right direction. He is there to actually do that which is expected of him as a legal luminary. He is here with me in the house. He's no other person but the president of Barrister Paul Zaruma. He's going to be saying hi to you later. But then, before that time, we do this program in 3 segments. The first segment is the newspaper review segment. The second segment is the transit segment, where we bring to you analysis on contemporary issues as they appear on newspapers and as we find interesting. Well, the third segment is that segment that I call your segment. That segment where you call in and give your input and submissions as to the issues you find interesting, or your contribution as to the discussion in the house. That segment, when it's time to call it, the number to call is 07032353315. And when you want to send in your SMS, you can send it to 08163141141. Well, this morning the barrister would want to say hi to you. Barrister, you're welcome to the studio.
Michael Pedro, good morning. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where and when you are receiving this signal. Thank you for having me once again this beautiful morning in peaceful Jos Plateau State. Mike Pedro, I want to use this opportunity to send my heartfelt condolence to the family of Honorable Aminu Zang over the demise of his daughter, Barrister Selma Zang. I also, Barrister Selma Ni Zang, she died during childbirth. We send our love and condolences to the family. She has since been buried according to Christian rites on Saturday. We send our condolences to the entire Nigerian Bar Association, as well as the Anaguta Development Association. We also extend our love to the Dogo, our love and condolences to the Dogo family over the demise of their daughter, late Miss Ladi Haruna Dogo, also known as Chinda. We also extend our love and condolence to her school, ATB Bauchi. We sympathize with them over her demise. She has also been buried according to Christian rites. We also send our love and condolences to those that lost their loved ones. Our love goes to all of you, and we ask that may the good Lord comfort each and every of those families.
Amen. May their gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Well, this morning, Barrister would want us, as usual, you know how we do this on Mondays. It's over the weekend newspaper review. So we're just going to touch from few newspapers from the weekends, then we come to today's newspapers. Even though most of the newspapers from the weekend still carries the story that is trending, the story of the tax bill and reforms and all.
Yes.
And it has been a trending issue throughout the weekend. But I'm just going to look from few newspapers before we look into today's newspaper. And the leadership on Sunday says Nigeria's tax reform system long overdue for reform. That's the minister. Cash scarcity persists as banks ignore CBN order. It's unfortunate, actually. This cash scarcity of a thing is becoming a thing of concern, because you go to a POS now and then for 10,000 naira you're charged 400. I don't know how it is in your area, but that is how it has been in my area since the scarcity of this cash scarcity.
And unfortunately, Mike Pedro, you will go to the bank's ATM, there is no money.
Yes.
You won't access money. So I don't know. And then again, we also have issues of network. You will make transfer. The receiver will tell you that you have been debited, but the receiver will tell you that he has not received the money. And then by the time you go to the bank to solve this issue, you spend the whole day and you will not get it solved. So you can see that, frankly and sincerely, it appears we are not ready for this cashless thing.
Sincerely.
We are not ready for the cashless thing. We are just subjecting the citizenry to excruciating difficulty, which is unnecessary, which is avoidable. You know, so it's very difficult. Yesterday, I think I went to about 3 banks, no money in the ATM card. So I was left after burning my fuel. I was left with no option than to resort to POS. You know, so you begin to wonder what is really happening.
How comes
And then the charges in POS, they will charge. If you are withdrawing above 10,000, your bank will charge you. They will charge the recipient, and then the POS will also charge you. So you can see multiple charges, apart from the difficulties that citizens are passing through. So it is quite unfortunate. You know, citizens are being shortchanged in this game. This is crass wickedness. This is heartlessness. And the authorities, if at all they have citizens at heart, something drastic and urgent have to be done about this issue, because we cannot continue like that. This is exploitation.
I agree with you,
citizens have been shortchanged. They have been exploited.
I sincerely agree with
you.
I
will pay the POS man. I will now, and then again, we are not also helping ourselves. You will go to some supermarket, you want to use your POS, they want to charge
you for using the POS.
You know, that is also exploitation by the citizens, by themselves. You go to some filling station, you want to take fuel, they want to charge you for using their own POS. You know, these are issues that, you know, you can see how vulnerable the citizens are. And the authorities are not protecting them. The authorities are exploiting the citizens, and the citizens are exploiting themselves. And you wonder where this thing would lead us to.
It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that the banks will only give you not more than 10,000 naira, but a POS man outside there can give you 50 and 100,000. Where do they get the money from? It now seems as if the bank and the POS people are into a kind of business that we don't know about. It's really something that the right authority should look or pay attention to.
At least if we want to go into cashlessness, we want to go into cashless society, we should be ready. We should know that we have the necessary facilities. And these are also some of the angles that some people are arguing, that when we come to talk about the tax reform bill, we also look at some good aspect of the tax reform bill. You know, but the entire system is exploitative. You know, something has to be done. It's necessary. Nigerians are passing through a lot. Now to even access your fund is difficult. And then many people are now resorting to other methods of saving money, because saving money in banks is becoming something else.
True, a lot of people are saving money.
Many people are looking for other options of saving money. So you can see that it's you know, the banks are becoming no-go areas, and something drastic, something urgent must be done about it. You know, you have your money, you cannot access it even in an emergency situation. Like it took me like 3 weeks, you know, to get my ATM card. I keep on going to the bank with my busy schedule. At times you spend the whole day, you did not get your ATM card.
When some banks have actually gone digital, that you can even print your card outside yourself.
Even the digital bank is what I'm talking about. You go there, nobody to attend to you, and the machine is messing up. You know, I've been to the bank severally just to access my ATM card. Is it an offense to operate a bank account in this country?
It's really unfortunate.
You know, it's quite unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate. Well, still on the newspaper review, newspaper headlines, the leadership on Sunday has this to say. It says medical experts differ on causes of rising death amongst Nigerians. High blood pressure, malnutrition related disease account for most deaths. Malnutrition, sir, accounts. It's part of the reasons why a lot of Nigerians are dying. And we are having this on newspaper. Say CMD, nutritionist, others link trends to economic squeeze. Of a truth, it has a lot to do with the economic situation of this country. There is no correlation. Consultants, that is the physician now, is trying to say there is no correlation in all of the assertions. Says no detection of COVID-19 variant XEC in Nigeria. Well, we thank God about this one. Rebels seize most of southern Syria. Equipped young journalist for ever-evolving media landscape. Azu tax schools. Okay. This is Sunday Telegraph. Says Tinubu won't undermine democracy. Says FG's move necessary to strengthen fiscal security. President not against amendment. Why we are opposing bill, that is the House of Reps. Newly detected XEC COVID-19 variant not in Nigeria. JAPA NMA 6 minimum benchmark for doctor's salary. Fresh fear grips northeast states. Southern Kaduna leaders want military barracks in their area. Zamfara residents abandon cars, bikes, trek along major routes. Chief of Army Staff, DG, DSS, assure on combating dissidents. CSO petitions, NSA, CDS, National Assembly over 90 checkpoints in Southeast. PDP debunks reported expulsion of Ugo Chinyere, and that is from Sunday. That is from Sunday. From today, being the 9th day of December, First News has this to say: 1,000 dead in military custody. Amnesty International demands accountability. This is from today. Okay. Oh, sorry, I got that. This is I mistakenly read from the Friday. First News says EPI's fear probe sparks shutdown. Keyamo slams FCC PC's careless claims. Regulator insists on investigation as tension roars. Kwara Hospital warns of mass burial as mortuary overflows. DSS has no business searching bags of airports. At airports, Keyamo. Katsina police foil 2 kidnapping. Rescue 20 victims. Tinubu congratulates Mahama, hails Ghana's democratic victory. No inheritance. No inheritance tax in proposed tax bill, says Oyedele. Kanu's release won't hinder your VP ambition, group tells Southeast governors. Facing out State Fund will destroy tertiary education, ASU president wants. Threats to Nigeria. Nigeria's stability will be met with justice, Ribado declares. And that is from the First News. The Matrix has this to say: stakeholders fault Tinubu for appointing Kingsmen as CBN, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Finance Ministries bosses. Tinubu congratulates Ghana's President-elect Mahama, expresses hope. Expresses hopes his victory will further bring stability to ECOWAS. Ministry debunks fake list of ambassadorial appointments. FCCP versus Airpeace face-off worsen. Keyamo says FCCP's statement on Airpeace's affairs is supposed to be FS, like first, like payment of salary, payments very careless. There is a typographic error. No amount of blackmail can stop our investigation. FCCP. Then it says Nigeria denies presence of new COVID-19 variant, calls for calm. Maritime stakeholders, experts throws weight behind Nigeria's cost guard bill. That is from the metrics. The Nation has this to say: Tinubu hails Mahama on return to power in Ghana. Senator Jimo Ibrahim, $100 billion in failed project offer development opportunities. UBA stock outperforms with 375% returns. Bagudu Aliyu, why tax reform is transformative. Forex inflows hits 4.5 billion. That is from the Nation's newspaper. Vanguard, any threat to Nigeria's security, internal or external, would face justice. That is the NSA. Marketers may lift petrol from PH refinery this week. Nigeria is in mass recovery race across all markets by bankers. How non-appointment of ambassadors is hurting Nigeria. Envoys. Senate Court C meets with AGF tomorrow. Sit today. Fair hike. Keyamo FCCPC at war over Airpeace. EFCC intensifies investigation of NFF. That is the Nation's newspaper. And then the last newspaper I'll be looking into today is the Punch newspaper. It says tax reform. Well, sir, from the newspapers we just looked into, I think notable of all the news today is still the tax reform bills. And you can hear from one of the newspapers, Shehu Sani is saying all the northerners that are against tax reform are actually ignorant of its content and all. So this morning it's still about the tax reform, and we've had a lot of discussion about this tax reform, but it seems like a lot is on the pipeline about this tax reform that it keeps recurring on the newspaper over and over again. This morning, it's more like the president is trying to give an assurance as to the reason why the tax reform should be given a chance for it to fly. But then still, Nigerians have not been educated as much as they should be educated, especially as it concerns this tax reform. I don't know, sir, if you have anything to say about this very issue this morning.
Yes, Michael Pedro, tax reform bill is a proposed legislation aimed at overhauling Nigeria's taxation framework. The bill, in parts, is a broader effort to reform the country's fiscal policies and improve revenue generation. The proposed bill seeks to establish a comprehensive framework for major tax laws in Nigeria. It comprises of four main components. Number one, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill 2024. This bill aims to streamline tax administration and enhance revenue collection. Number two, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill 2024. This bill proposes the establishment of a renewed revenue service to oversee tax collection and management. Number three, the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill 2024. This bill seeks to create a joint revenue board to coordinate revenue collection and sharing among different levels of government. Lastly, the Nigerian Tax Bill. This bill aims to reform the country's tax law and regulation to make them more efficient and effective. Now, there are other elements of the bill that many Nigerians are not very comfortable with, particularly from the northern extraction. Michael Pedro, the whole thing surrounding the argument for this bill is that it has been politicized. It has also been reported that the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, stated that with respect to tax reform bill, that northern politicians should not should wait till 2031. That as long as 2027 is concerned, it's a game for the south. So it's a turn of the southern part of the country. So you can see that was an outright politicization of the argument. And these are the kind of things that I personally frown at. Mm-hmm. I like people that take on issues and then argue based on issues raised. The fear of the northerners is that the revenue being generated, there were revenues that were hitherto generated from the north that was used to develop the entire country. And now that most revenues are not either forthcoming or are not being extracted as it were. So now the revenue base of the country has shifted to the southern part of the country due to one factor or the other. And then as long as the northern politicians are concerned that the tax reform bill is not going to favor them because the revenue from the north has been used to develop the entire country, while the tax reform bill seek to make the revenues generated from the south to develop the southern part of the country, at a point where the northern part of the country is battling with a lot of issues relating to revenue generation. Now, when you put at this thing side to side, you will say, well, the argument, if you look at the argument objectively and holistically, the tin mining, for instance, from Jos Plateau State, were used to develop, particularly at that time, Lagos was the capital of Nigeria. The majority of it was used to develop Lagos State. But the Plateau State didn't really benefit much from the tin that was hitherto mined. Plateau State was only left with death traps in the name of mining ponds. And then during the tin mining era, Plateau State contributed significantly to the economic of Nigeria. Now, we also have the examples on and on in different parts of northern Nigeria. So now that generally solid minerals were mostly extracted from the northern part of the country during both the pre-colonial era and the early stage of the post-colonial era. So you can see that. So that is the argument of the northern politicians, that look, now that you are saying that the southern part of the country, now that you are saying that the local industries in that country, those states that are hosting those local industries or those local minerals, stand to benefit more by the new arrangement under the proposed bill. So, this brought a lot of discomfort from the northern part of the country, and that's why you could see this reaction here and there. But be that as it may, they say, as you are pointing at one finger, so the other fingers are pointing at you. Most of the politicians from the northern part of the country have gotten opportunity to either revive the industries in the north, but they failed. They failed. And you can see that many investors, even if they are getting their raw materials from the north, they tend to build their factories or industry of companies, as the case may be, in the southern part of the country. Majorly because of security factor. So, and then the northern leaders have to sit down and look within and say, okay, how do we improve on security? I've said it severally, and I'm saying it for the opportune time, that, some of the factors that is really affecting the northern part of, the major factor that is affecting the northern part of the country is the issue of insecurity. And once this issue of insecurity is not addressed, no investor will come and invest in billions where there is insecurity.
Of course.
You know, I also give an example one time with Alhaji Aliko Dangote. Alhaji Aliko Dangote was quoted to have said that he built most of the headquarters of his industries in the southern part of the country because of security.
True.
And you can see that even if a Nigerian can think like that, you expect a foreigner to think differently.
A Nigerian from the
And I also cited a lot of examples. For instance, I said ordinary biscuit that you see on the street of Nigeria is being manufactured from southern part of the country. Ordinary sweets that you see people in naming ceremony, weddings sharing, ordinary sweets is being manufactured from the northern part of the country. And you know, we all know that the Nigerian economy is driven by the petrochemical industry. And then where is it coming from?
South.
You know, the Buhari regime started oil exploration somewhere in between Gombe and Bauchi. What happened to that exploration? So you can see that there is failure of leadership from the northern part of the country. If not, there wouldn't have been any fear. The northern part of the country have all the potentials to compete with her southern counterpart.
By all standards.
Yes, it has the raw materials, it has the human resources, it has all the potentialities to compete with its southern counterpart. But what is actually bedeviling the northern part of the country is poor leadership. Like I said, you know, it was argued during Buhari's regime that the oil discovered in the north is of market, it's of high quantity and high value.
Commercial quantity.
It's for commercial quantity. But what happened to the exploration? And there were false and fake assurances that these things will start, that the country will start getting crude oil from that exploration. You know, it turned out to be an expedition, a wasteful expedition for that matter. So you can see that these are some of the things that we say that it is all about leadership. You know, they not have gold, they not have uranium, they not have tin, they not have iron ore, they not have, when you talk about agriculture, the northern part of the country have the landmass that is not only enough to feed the country, but it has the potential to export.
West Africa will feel the impact.
It can export food items outside the country. You know,
well, sir, this conversation is of a serious interest, and I would want you to really dig deep into what you were saying. But we'll be going on this very short break, and when we come back, we'll be having a more in-depth conversation. Please stay tuned. We'll be back in just a jiffy.
This is Unity FM.
Due to the frequency of unity, the voice of reason, the voice so clear and crystal, put your mind on the stereo. United we stand, divided we fulfill the pleasure of the groove. Unity FM 93.3, the voice of reason.
Okay, let's go. Before the sun rises, make a hey. You want me to close me? Lele. I be all over your finger like Lele. We be flying in the air like Iris. Taking all over the stereo, what's next? All the stations I beg, new vex. Now we defeat your playlist. All the tunes we play in the pitch piece. So break chain, it's time to be free. I'm busy with the voice, 93.3.
Unity FM 93.3, we're here. Unity FM, the voice of reason. Unity FM, the voice of freedom. Unity FM, the voice of reason. The voice of reason. The voice of reason. Unity, yeah, voice of reason. Unity, oh, voice of reason.
Unity FM.
Just
93.3, the voice of reason.
From the home of peace and tourism, this is Unity 93.3 FM.
Advertise your goods, services, and products here on the all-new Unity 93.3 FM. We are the station you have been waiting for. Take advantage of our wide coverage, quality programming, unique listenership, and unbeatable rates to promote and market your products and services. For us at Unity FM, your satisfaction is our driving force. For placement and inquiries, visit our marketing office at number 62.
FM and TV. It is still that your most anticipated political and socio-economic program on the radio, the Unity Train. And of course, I still remain your humble uncle, Michael Pedro is my name. Before we went on that break, we were having some conversation around the very contending issues that we've been talking about in recent time, which is the tax reform bill. And the barrister in the house had a lot to say, taking a comparative analysis between the North and the South in terms of advantages, economic advantages. He is trying to say the North has a lot of advantages, but due to bad leadership, the North is in the position whereby the tax reform bill right now is almost like it seems like it is against the North, because the North is not in position to actually grab that which the tax reform proposition has to offer. That is currently seems as if it is in the favor of the South. He is saying that before we went on that very short break, and we were just going to go back to that very conversation. Please sit back and be part of this conversation. So, sir, you were saying something.
So the point I was making is that the fear that the northern politicians are expressing as a result of this proposed bill is a fear, is an artificial fear created by them. So the fear was not created by South. They created that monster. Where is the industries in Kano today? Where are those industries? Where are those? Where are the industries in the industries and factories in Plateau State? For instance, what happened to JIB? What happened to so many companies within Plateau State?
Yeah, you can talk of the JIB. You can talk of the.
What happened to Back Farm?
Back Farm, you can talk of the Just Rolling Mills, you can talk of...
and then if you look at the history of Plateau State, most of the governors that govern Plateau State, even during the military regime, are from the northern part of the country.
True.
I cannot remember Plateau State having any Igbo governor, for instance, or a Yoruba governor during the military regime. So you can see that brings us to the point that the Northerners destroyed the North by themselves. They created this monster that they are now afraid of, that we are now afraid of. If not, we have all it takes to compete with the southern counterpart. So the southern part of the country is not a problem of the North. It's not a problem of the North. So if you look at it, if you look at the blessings in Maiduguri, Lake Chad alone is a blessing that can sustain Maiduguri and is sustaining even neighboring countries. But do you know that today Borno State cannot maximize the potential in Lake Chad because of insecurity?
True.
So these are some of the things. It was under a Plateau State indigenous governor that Back Farm was sold to a private individual.
Fidelis Takun.
You can see. So, was it a southerner that sold Back Farm?
No.
So you can see that the problem of the North was created by northern politicians. And then they are now trying to make it look as if it is the South that is creating the problem. The South never created any problem. Most of these companies, I just mentioned Biscuit Sweet and some minor things, just minor example. Where do they normally get their raw materials from? From the North.
Mostly from the North.
So there is no sane company will come to up north to get raw material, spend transport it down south
for production.
And then transport it. It would have been easier
to have the company here in the north in order to
close to the raw material,
minimize expenditure.
It would minimize cost and expenditure. But why are they moving there? Because we in the north did not create the conducive atmosphere.
True.
And once we create the enabling atmosphere, we create the conducive atmosphere. I gave you an example. If another like Dangote will go and build a headquarters of most of his major offices in southern part of the country, then you expect a foreigner or a southerner to come and do that. So we really have the north, the 19 northern states have to look within and address some of this leadership deficit. If the promises and assurances that President Muhammadu Buhari gave about the oil exploration in the north, if he had fulfilled those promises, we wouldn't be talking about oil now. But so you can see, and then
if the north still has the mentality that she has, despite the experiences that she's gathered, let's say since the inception of the Fourth Republic, don't you think even if you had explored that very opportunity of the oil, don't you think it would have brought about more insecurity? Because I'm saying this because look at Zamfara. Zamfara became what it is today in terms of insecurity because of the gold that was discovered in recent time. And then you can tell of other neighboring states that discovered one source of raw material or the other, or natural resources or the other. The next thing you would get to hear about those very environments or states is the insecurity becoming the norm and everything. So if say for instance we explore that very opportunity, that deposit of oil discovered in some part of Gombe, Maiduguri, another part of Bauchi, to say, wouldn't it have brought more insecurity and then politicizing security? You know the reason we are is because we politicize security.
As long as I'm concerned, all these potentials we mention are blessings from God. No government kept it there.
True.
No any citizen kept it there.
True.
These are natural resources. Because Nigeria is a godly country, is a country that believes in God. So it is God that deposited these things there. So it is now left for us to harness, maximize, and then enjoy these things that God has deposited for us. There is no need to fear anything. What is even bringing those insecurity is still leadership failure.
I agree with you.
It's still leadership failure.
I agree with you.
If it is not leadership failure, why will a blessing become a curse? So these are some of the things that are happening. So the leaders in the north should come in and look at the potentials in the north and maximize the potential. They will no longer be afraid of bills like tax reform bill. Now we are just trying to look at the area, the fear that the northern politicians are expressing. Now, if you also look at some angle of the tax reform bill, it has a lot of advantages.
Yeah,
now,
I agree.
For instance, now, ASU, through their national chairman, they are expressing fear that the bill has proposed will affect
third fund,
and invariably affect university funding. Now, if it affects university funding, it says even now they are complaining how much more if that aspect of the bill see the light of the day. So you can see the reservation that ASU as a body is having. Now, there are leaders of companies and industries. They are saying, as long as they are concerned, this tax reform bill will address the issue of multiple taxation.
But looking at this, is the strength of the tax reform bill.
Yes,
we keep making a reference to the addressing multiple taxation and all. But don't you think that this tax reform bill is actually gearing us to that place where it seems like we are forgetting that aspect of the federal character that speaks about even distribution to every state. Because if we are now saying a certain percentage a state or host state is going to get a certain percentage as against other states, it therefore means we are not considering the federal character, the whole idea behind the federal character that talks about distribution, even distribution. Don't you think this very tax reform bill has an effect to the federal character, negative effect to the federal character?
Yes, the tax reform bill have negative effects to the federal character, particularly when it comes to even distribution of resources to the federal component. But the point I'm trying to make is that even the negative effect was artificially created. If assuming every part of the country develop its potentials, and then every part of the country is now benefiting from its potential, who will be scared of a tax reform bill? Particularly that aspect of the bill that place premium on the host states, state hosting those industries, state hosting those raw materials, state hosting those factories. They will benefit from a portion of the tax more than other states. Now, if every region have concentrated on internal development, would that fear be? With those potentials that we have already pointed that every part of this country have potentials to develop itself.
Actually, that would have allayed the fear.
And then
there wouldn't have been that fear.
The tax reform bill, one of the major things is that to the north, the tax reform bill is an ambush.
It seems so.
Yes, it is an ambush because as it is now, they are caught in the middle, battling with insecurity, battling with underdevelopment, battling with poverty, battling with out-of-school children. Then in the midst of this, then behold, the North is being heralded with this bill. So that is where the reaction is coming in. But it is also ordinarily to me, it should be a wake-up call for the politicians in the North, the governors, the senators, the reps members, to look within and say, how can we develop our region? How can we harness and tap from this potential? How can we utilize these resources that we have? These humongous resources that we have. I gave example with Plateau State, for instance. A lot of iron deposit of tin, a lot of deposit of iron ore, a lot of deposit of silicon, a lot of, name them. Hardly there is any solid mineral you cannot find in Plateau State.
Like the state.
But do you know the people benefiting from this? The middlemen.
True.
And who are the people dying in the mining pits? They are the artisanal miners.
Youths, yeah.
Those artisanal miners are the people dying in the pits. They are the people, almost every week, you will hear one tragic incident or the other in either mining pond or in a mining site. But who are the beneficiaries? The middlemen, making billions. Now, is there any deliberate policy by the government to save the life of these young innocent people? And then again, to also tax and benefit from these activities of the middlemen? It is becoming like a mafia business, which ought not to be like that. So you can see, why is it like that? It's because of governance. So you can, the northern politicians should sit down and look within. And, unfortunately, it's not as if the southern politicians are sent. It's not as if the southern politicians are better politicians. It's not as if the southern politicians are doing well. But it's just that it is phenomenal. Why are all this debate and all this? It's because of the oil. Remove the oil. Assuming, who will be talking about tax reform bill?
The tax reform bill in itself, barrister, as a legal luminarian that you are, don't you think this reform bill has negative effects on the rights of citizens? Because looking at the reform bill yesterday,
of course,
it seems like it is.
You see, I agree with ASU that if at this moment we are still battling with education funding, and then today this bill will affect TET fund and other education funding, then it is that aspect of the bill. I told you that I don't believe in. I don't believe that when your head is aching, you chopped off the head. I believe that you treat it. So I don't believe that the bill should just be thrown away. I believe that there are good aspects of the bill that should be taken, and then the bad, the aspect of the bill that affects funding of education. Even at now, Michael Pedro, how many people can comfortably pay their children's school fees in Nigerian higher institution? How many parents? So if you remove funding through this proposed bill, we will have more of out-of-school children.
Of course, school fees is going.
And already, we're already complaining of out-of-school children.
Already, even the recent increment has taken people unawares, and then a lot of people are no longer going to school.
You see,
now we're saying this bill is posing a threat to that very aspect of education.
So you can see
how many people would actually go to school?
So if actually that aspect of the bill is allowed to see the light of the day, then many poor people will not access higher institution. Higher institution will only be for the elites and their children, which is not healthy for them.
That goes to say that this bill has a lot of negative aspects.
Yes. I told you that the bill is actually sandwiched with a lot of things that even the Senate president that is pushing for that bill. Because, yes, the bill is an executive bill, it is a proposed executive bill, but the posture of the Senate president on that bill, particularly while reacting to the House of Representatives that said, no, we will suspend discussion of the bill, study it, consult with our constituents. That was a very fantastic posture by the House of Reps. We give them kudos for that action.
It is not expected.
As long as the Senate is concerned, they were trying to rush.
Every sane Nigeria is not expecting the Senate president, in the person of Godswill Akpabio, to actually kick against this bill. This is because there's a saying that says consistency and reputation is the key to persuasion. He has so persuaded us to come to the understanding that this is the kind of person he is when it comes to issues like this. Like the recent statement he made
during the end bad governance.
The end bad governance. Yes. You should go protesting, we'll be here eating. And then there's another one that's anywhere when I see food, more than a chop, or nobody they promise food somewhere. There's a way, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, but there's a way he puts it. It's not a statement that should be made by a political elite of his class. Now, that goes to say to a very large extent, or we are persuaded as Nigerians to come to the acceptance that certain things that we expect him to actually kick against, he's definitely not going to kick against, because it seems as if the will of the people or the interest of the people is not his primary concern from every assertion that he has made in recent times. So we're not surprised he's kicking against the stance of the House of Reps and what they do. But I give them the kudos that they're actually doing something in respect to this very will. The statement that nobody can withdraw the will And nobody can stop the implementation of the will except the president shows he's not democratic.
Yes. That was an undemocratic statement, and the statement is also counterproductive, and then it also makes the bill more unpopular. Because one of the major way to make something very unpopular is when you are trying to superimpose it on people, or when you are trying to gaslight people that already know that you are trying to gaslight them. So, and that's where the Senate is missing it. And then again, when media reported that House of Reps have suspended deliberation, instead of the Senate to come up and say, oh, it is House of Reps that actually suspended deliberation, we did not suspend deliberation. They made a blanket statement. Oh, the National Assembly did not suspend the deliberation.
Generalizing it. Making it seem as if only the red chamber is the National Assembly.
And then also making it look as if the House of Reps did not form part of the National Assembly. So when you look at some of those gimmicks and mendacious propaganda, you will realize that it's not also good in terms of persuasion. Once you make people to become to lose their trust, once people do not trust the authority again, even when they come to educate people, they will come and meet a people that have an already made mindset.
True.
So I think this posture, like I just said, the statement of the SGF is not too good. Yes, we know that Nigeria is practicing rotation, for instance. But is it constitutional?
It's not constitutional.
So for you, an SGF, a man occupying such a sensitive office, and you are also from the northern part of the country, you come up to say, oh, it is not your turn. So forget about 2027, as long as tax reform bill is concerned. You are creating a kind of a mindset in people that even when the House of Reps now, maybe some will come through consultation, some will come through town hall meeting, some will come through different meets to meet their constituents. By the time they meet the constituent, they will meet an already made constituents. And at that point, they will find it very difficult.
And sir, statements
Let me give you an instance. During the rebuilding of the terminus market, certain informations were mismanagement. Rebuilding of terminus market, very laudable, very necessary, very timely. The argument of some people, oh, it will take 20 years or thereabout to rebuild it. But they have forgotten from when it was burnt to today, how many years has it been lying moribund? 22 years. Been lying moribund. So and now you are now saying, if we rebuild it, it will take, once you rebuild it, as long as we are alive, 20 years is just a matter of time.
Of course.
Now, but the problem that actually played out was managing the information. And by the time consultation will begin, religion statement has already crept in. And then people, you are now meeting people with an already made mindset. So that is exactly the kind of effect that this tax reform bill may encounter by the time perhaps House of Representative members utilize this Yuletide season to start their consultation with their constituents. They will come and meet a constituent with a preconceived mindset. Once you meet a constituent with a preconceived mindset, then you will not be able to get an objective result.
Sure.
So that is why people like George Akume should not be quick to politicize this process, even though it has a political angle of it, it has a legal angle of it, it has a legislative angle of it, it also has a political angle of it. It has so many angles to it, but I think over-politicizing it is counterproductive.
Very true, sir. And then the delay in coming back to their constituencies to consult with their constituents in line with this very issue of tax reform is giving room to a lot of assertions that will build people's mindset negatively, opposition people's mindset negatively. If they had come even before now to actually start this consultation, having a town hall meetings with their people, telling them the benefits, and then let the people to tell them the part of the reform bill that they feel they are not okay with, so they can have something to go and present in their various whether House of Representatives or House the Senate House, that will project the interest of the people. All this wouldn't have all these assertions wouldn't have been done, and then a lot of these assertions are making people like us now to want to look more in depth into this very bills, because it seems as if there are a lot of ulterior intentions or motives behind the bills that we Nigerians have not seen yet. The truth is, the more you look into the bill, the more you get to realize some things in the bill that you did not see the first time you went through. Like, I've gone through the bill, like the second time was, I think, yesterday, and then I'm coming with this very part of the bill that is against, certain part of the bill that is against the fundamental human rights. The first time I went through it, I did not see it. But then we're going through it again, I saw it. And the more time that it's given and the more consultation that is done in line with this very bill, the more we get to understand the whole idea behind the challenging the bill is so the bill can bring the best that it can offer. Not that Nigerians are totally saying no, let's expunge this bill. No, but the bill cannot be accepted in totality. If Nigerians will accept the bill the way it is, then Nigerians are fools. I'm sorry to use that word, fool, because we will not just be given something like that and then without first extraying it and then we accept it. It has happened in the past. Propositions were made, promises were made in line with...
Yes. I think this bill, every profession should look into it, how it will affect them. Mm-hmm. Just like ASU went through the bill, and they were able to spot a red light, a red flag that will affect ASU, and then affect education generally, and they were able to speak out. So every professional body should also look into that bill and be able to identify any aspect of it that may likely affect them. And this will be very good for us.
All right. With all that being said, we'll be going on this very short break and we will be right back. When we come back, we'll be picking your calls. The number to call is 0703235315, and to send in your SMS, send this to 08163141141. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in a jiffy.
Advertise your goods, services, and products here on the all-new Unity 93.3 FM. We are the station you have been waiting for. Take advantage of our wide coverage, quality programming, unique listenership, and unbeatable rates to promote and market your products and services. For us at Unity FM, your satisfaction is our driving force. For placement and inquiries, visit our marketing office at number 62, Zenaria Hill Layout, Jos Plateau State, Nigeria, or call us on 080-253-22266, 080-5223-1992. So come talk to us today and we will put your word out there.
Sweetness conquers every hate. The taste of it just makes you know peace. Love, sending chills to our hearts. Love, building our consciences. Love is our only consciousness. We live it, breathe, and even sweat love, because love is our greatest weapon. Love is what we live. Love is what we practice. Love is what we want to share, because love is all. Love is just love. Love is unity. Unity 93.3 FM, voice of reason.
93.3 FM.
Unity FM, voice of reason.
Unity 93.3 FM.
There is a place where everyone is different yet happy. Where love and friendship fills the air. Where togetherness is a tradition. And diversity is a strength. Just City, home of Unity, 93.3 FM.
Reason it.
Since we know our parts, we're going to get it right, aren't we?
Yeah. Voice it. Champion it. It's Unity 93.3 FM.
Yep, okay, here we go.
Just
Face it, the only thing constant in radio is change.
A lot's changed since 1967.
You've evolved with your listeners.
You used to play this.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now.
From that very short break, if you can still hear my voice, then it means you're still rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. It is still that your most anticipated political and socio-economic program on the radio, the Unity Train. And of course, we're still on the issue of this tax reform bill, and the barrister has done justice to a lot of questions asked from in-house. It is time for you to actually call in and give your contribution and submissions as to this very discussion of this day, this morning. Well, the number to call is 070-3235-3315, and to send in your SMS, you can send it to 081-6314-1141. On Facebook, we are on Unity FM/TV Just, and on YouTube, we are on Unity FM TV. You can get us on social media and drop your comments even as we are live as the program goes on. Well, barrister, talking about the police and the rescue this week, I don't know if you have something to say about it. It's actually something applaudable.
I think we should applaud our security, particularly the police, for rescuing over 20 kidnapped victims. This is a job well done, and then we encourage them to continue with this good job, and then we also encourage the authorities to motivate them where necessary. And then also in Benue State, also the military have been doing wonderfully well in pushing some of these bandits and arresting some of them. So I think that is also a good development in the right direction.
Actually,
so we have to commend our military and other security forces that participated in that operation, in making sure that our country is made safe for the citizens. And then the issue of security is a collective fight. So we have to, our leaders have to collaborate with each other, put hands together, and make sure that we succeed in the fight against insecurity, so that Nigeria will be a safe haven for everybody. You can travel at night, you can travel any moment. So we give kudos to our security for some of the successes recorded recently, particularly during the weekend.
Well, actually, it's something applaudable that the police were able to achieve this. It's something we should give credence to and then applaud them for it. When they do good, we are going to give them the credit. When they do bad, we are going to criticize them. That is why we're here. Well, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, I'm Bashir one time, Dankoli, calling from Jos.
Bashir Dankoli, you're welcome.
Yes. Barrister, good morning.
Good morning, Bashir
I appreciate your fantastic analysis.
Thank you very much.
Kudos.
Thank you.
I want to contribute about issues of this bill reform. We are Nigerians. We also, everybody, part of the Nigeria, they are saying no no to this bill. We don't need it. If really our leaders, they are for us, they have to listen to what we are going to tell them. We don't need it. So remove it. And this leadership is an opportunity given by God to give you to do it. And God is seeing what you are doing, and it's temporary, it's something temporary that has been given to you. And the same people, you are coming back to them and tell them that vote for me. So they should for them to come back for us. So we are counting all things that is the advantage to us. Thank you very much. Let me, for the opportunity given to me, let me give another people chance to contribute. Thank you very much. I'm Bashir Dankoli.
Thank you so much, Bashir. God bless you for that call and that wonderful contribution. I have made some comments on Facebook. It says, we are together from Kaduna, Nigeria, and that's Sanusi Mohammed. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is Benedict of England.
Mr. Benedict, you're welcome to the studio this morning. Happy weekend.
On the issue of the tax reform bill, I actually said that the timing is very, very wrong. I don't know what reforms has actually really developed any positive result in Nigerians. Before illegal Nigerians system, I said Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, as in office in 2023. We have seen some of the reforms today, the power reforms that actually failed. We also see some of the economic reforms that we have made, by floating the naira, which has also created a lot of the business of people, and also give our economy and our GDP, even though it has actually multiplied. But again, Nigerians are seriously having a negative impact of that particular policy, which has also been labeled as a failure. That particular economic policy that has been rolled out, the Nigerians is also a failure. This other reforms we're talking about concern the power reforms. Nigerians are suffering this particular time and using electricity for up to 2 hours in certain areas, out of 54 hours. And bringing in this particular tax reform reform, I think we can always go to another failure. In that the lawmakers have actually come to their country. I am not from the north, I come from the south. But then I'm also standing against it. Because this particular bill is going to bring about, the state are going to collect from what they are actually contributing from the center. And the very time they see this money has also mentioned that insecurity is the reason why the Nigerian state cannot be able to cope. And the reason is because people are so insecure. People cannot be able to invest. Some investors cannot come to enough today because of the insecurity in this region. If you look at the Southeastern region, the former president of Nigeria planted a seed of discord and a seed of division and destruction in the east. And then because the fire is actually ignited in the east. When I make this statement, I think I can defend by saying that the best president of Nigeria led the sensitivity of Bitcoin as a terrorist organization. And that statement alone can be able to scale away investors. And that particular statement he made now has made that particular place to be a new area. Now, this is the particular bill comes to go. In this case, how are people going to come to to generate funds for the people of that east and for the government to be able to generate and then deliver to the center so that they can be able to receive again? If you look at this whole thing, the president really rebalance this particular situation. I was expecting that the APC on their own is the having should be able to given us an account to say, this is the bill of this because to do this time and then make sure that everything is good. And again, after making that statement, they should proceed immediately. That's tackling the issue of insecurity. Because you don't need to pay taxes when they have moved their home, moved their livelihood, and they're supposed to come and pay taxes. I think it is actually coming in a way that is very time. So the federal government, if they want Nigeria to actually back in this particular issue and ideas of this submission, they should first of all make sure that security is tackled. Because if they don't tackle people, when they are still on the health sector, yes, they go to life and their families and their businesses, and again, they have to bring those tax reforms. I think it is actually good on arrival. I want to join my seat and my positive to say we are saying no. Let's be careful of this nation that the issue of tax reform should be and that it should be suspended for this particular time because Nigeria belongs to all of us. It is very issue for the political lobby. That's my
you so much, Mr. Benedict, for that wonderful contribution of yours. Mr. Benedict is very vocal, especially when it comes to the issues that concerns the well-being of this country.
He has been a very wonderful person. Bashir Wantam Donkoli is also another.
Yes, regular callers that would always call in to give their input and submission as to certain issues. Good morning, sir.
And everybody's trying to speak.
Good morning, Mr. Ike Kalu.
Mr. Ike Kalu, good morning.
Thank you. Mr. Ike Kalu, calling you from Kadama.
Wow, you have moved from Gurum to Kadama.
The question we should be asking ourselves, are we really ready to give the notion that every Nigerian will be proud of? This issue of tax reform, when we regionalize or religion, or put religion or rather interest in it, it will not order well with us. Look at the way some of our leaders are talking. People that are supposed to be uniting Nigeria. You are talking about religion. Is it not all Nigerians that are living in Nigeria? Is there any suffering that comes that doesn't affect Nigeria anywhere you are as far as Nigeria is concerned? So whether we like it or not, that is why we are looking for strong electoral reform. So that all this legislation will know that the issue of godfatherism will not treat them in India. Where are most of them afraid of these governors and everything? Most of them you dance to the tune of these governors because they think they can do all kinds of things to see that they bring them back. If they really know that me and you have a say in whatever they do here, if we need to have come to this extent, situation, must we reach out to policy before we get things right? You see the way the federal government and the governors and everybody is running better to see that this gets right. If we have followed the normal tenets, will Nigerians be proud like this? Are we afraid of tax? The present situation we are, look at these people that are getting. And let me tell you, my friend, we go and investigate if there are some governors that are even offering 50,000 as minimum wage to level or 40,000. Why can't we pay? What we are saying is, must be done by the federal government. Why you want your state government doing with all this money coming to them? Me as a driver, and once we are with the charge once I pay my tax and pay. I will not be going on the road and see somebody throwing nets, telling me to stop. Every state you enter, this one will say, we revenue. The local government will say revenue. Not all of them are bad. But we need to put this thing on table so that Nigeria will deliberate on it. Look at what the academics and academicians are saying. Based on the issue. When you bring it down, Nigerians will be better informed. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Mr. Musa Ike Kalu. One of the things he said that I picked interest in is the statement by SSG, that is in the person of George Okume. Instead of reminding us of unity, we remind ourselves of our differences, always, and then we pride ourselves as one Nigeria. How are we one Nigerians when our political elites will make such statements, reminding us that we are more different than we are united? It has an effect, a negative effect at that, sincerely.
Most of those statements are emotional statements. And that is why I said...
but one of the qualities of a good leader is the ability to control one's emotional... It's having emotional intelligence. If you don't have it...
Among the spokespersons of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and unfortunately is not there, is Ajuli Ngilali. Ajuli Ngilali, once you raise an issue, he addresses the issue. He doesn't look at your personality. He doesn't look at your... he tries to address the issues. He focuses on the issue. And that has been his difference with the likes of Femi Adesina, the likes of Garba Shehu during Buhari's regime, and the like. I remember in one of Matthew Kuka's Christmas message, you know, Matthew Kuka's Christmas message has been a message that people used to expect every Christmas. Sure. And just like the article of, what is his name, Professor Farouk Perogi, many Nigerians are waiting to see that Professor Farouk Perogi speak on any contending issue in Nigeria. So, but whenever, during Buhari's regime, for instance, when they raise those issues, instead of them to address the issues, they will begin to attack the person's personality,
yes.
begin to smear the person, which is very, very unfortunate. When you raise an issue, address the issue. Is this thing the person saying is not true, or is it half truth, or why are you saying is half truth? Come up with a superior argument.
True.
That is one fantastic thing about Ajuri Ngilale that distinguishes him from other spokespersons, right from Buhari's regime up to part of this regime. Some of us felt sad that Ajuri Ngilale had to leave unceremoniously.
Really, actually. Still on social media, on Facebook, she says, wish you all the best, Unity FM and entire family. That is Muhammad Sani Shwaibu. And so Muhammad Nasifi Aliu says, good morning. Then Garba Nahali Kamba Kebi says, hello, good morning, Mr. Presenter. I am grateful for you and your guests watching you from Kamba Kebi just now. Kingsley N. Go1. Good morning, Unity Train. I salute you for your fantastic analysis. Jibrin Dawai Ezalo says, good morning, Mr. Pedro and Barrister Paul Zaruma and other guests in the house. Nigerian people are living in a bad situation due to the poor administration. Let us keep our voters card 2027. And also, I'm very thankful Senator Ali Ndume for his great presentation. God bless Unity FM TV and Nigeria at large. By Jibrin Dawai Zalo. Then this one says, this is Muri Azi Izan. Good morning, Unity FM/TV morning train. The presenter and Barrister PZ Zaruma. No matter what you want in your life, if you can develop reports with the right people, you will be able to fill their needs and they will be able to fill yours. Very true. This one, Muhammad Tajuddin. Good morning, Mr. Michael Pedro, and very good morning to Barrister Zaruma. Welcome to another working week. The controversial tax reform bill has many benefits, but there are areas that need to be either expunged or rework them so that all parts of the country will get equal share of the national cake. The lawmakers should also go back to their constituencies and consult their constituents about the areas that are causing controversies. Muhammad Tajuddin from Naraguta. Ali Umaza, good morning, Mr. Pedro Barrister Zaruma and Prof. Bameyi. May Almighty Allah bless you all for always increasing our knowledge. Thank you from Ali Umaza. Thank you all for that wonderful comments. We'll be taking some few text messages. I see a lot of text messages coming in this morning. This one says, good morning, Mike Pedro and Barrister Paul. If our leaders have vision and patriotism, Nigeria today would have been a great country. But since borrowing and looting is the governance, all we shall continue to experience deficit of governance and dividends of democracy. If wishes were to be horses, half of Nigeria would have fled this country. Regards to Kulbi and the Prof. Emilong from Agingi. Thank you, Mr. Emilong from Agingi. This one says, good morning, Mike Pedro and the Barrister. Sincerely, the FG suffer a lot for losing its military men and policemen. Also, millions of innocent people are yet to, and yet no single international organization sympathize or demand the accountability of such loss by the terrorist group. Please, FG should do whatsoever to protect and save the lives of innocent people. After all, Amnesty International can keep demanding the accountability on terrorist group. Thank you. Ismail from Jos. Good morning, MP and BZ. Life generally consists of two things, one for you and the others against you. So when it is for you, don't be proud or reckless, and when it is against you, be patient. Go back to drawing board and be hopeful. For both are tests. May God grant us the ability to understand humanity in the best way. Make us sufficient for us. Hassan Garba. Thank you, Hassan Garba. Hassan Garba will always send a text message in the morning to check on our well-being.
That's fantastic of Hassan Garba. He usually send money tonics
every morning. He will send text message. Thank you, Hassan Garba, for all that you do. God bless you. Good day, Barrister. How can we develop in the north? We don't like ourselves. See tribalism, farmers, herders, indigenous settlers, and a religious crisis. Bala in Jos. That was from Bala in Jos. And this one says, good morning, Mr. Pedro and Barrister Zaruma. The tax reform bill should be suspended. We cannot trust our leaders. They promise removal of fuel subsidy will better the life of the average Nigerian, improve on our standard of living, give us basic amenities like good road, electricity, and education. But reverse is the case. Nigerians are not after any political party Almighty God, give us good leaders that will pity the poor. May the labor of our heroes past not be in vain. God bless Nigeria. Adewumi from Bauchi Road. Thank you, Mr. Adewumi from Bauchi Road. God bless you for this beautiful text message. Well, those are the text messages that we have this morning. And not to waste too much of your time, the tax reform bill has a lot of benefits and disadvantages, like we have all pointed out on commentary. Good morning. Okay, I lost that call. It has both its advantages and disadvantages. We are just saying, just in case, if our member, House of Representatives and Senate, should come back to say they are going to be having a town hall meeting, all that you have said in here as your contribution should be tabled there, so that they can take cognizance of all this, because only that way can we see the effect of all our demands in here.
I agree with Adewumi. You know, when Nigerians, when the government insisted that they will remove subsidy, that only upon removal of subsidy that Nigerians will benefit stable power supply, or upon removal of subsidy Nigerians will benefit good roads, upon removal of subsidy Nigerians will benefit quality education, and so many other mouth-watering promises. Can we say that the removal of subsidy has brought those things?
None.
You see? No. So that is why Nigerians don't trust the government.
Instead of progressing.
So they will give a lot of beautiful promises. They said farmers will get good, affordable, quality fertilizer if subsidy is removed, and now subsidy has been removed. None of such promises has been fulfilled.
No.
So you can see that there is trust deficit between the citizenry and the leaders.
And sincerely, it is very, very dangerous.
Yes.
If we get to that point where the citizens can no longer trust their leaders, then a lot of bad things are it's possible for a lot of bad things.
The mother of all, they said employment will be everywhere if subsidy is removed.
Oh, 1 million employment. 1 million employment in the first year was the promise.
So you can see that, you know, that's why Nigerians are scared, you know, are scared of every move from the government. So, because they will promise, if this tax bill come, there will be no multiple taxation, blah, blah, blah. Before you know it, those taxation will come.
True.
We just mentioned what is happening in the banks at the beginning of this discussion. The banks are taxing multiple taxation.
On one transaction.
On one transaction.
It's really unfortunate.
The POS man will tax you. Even the POS man will be taxed.
So if you're going to put together...
the sender will be taxed. The receiver will be taxed. You know?
It's the percentage is too high.
It's quite unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Well, we are at that point where we would say to you... it's actually the end of this discussion this morning, the Monday, the 9th day of December 2024. You have been so instrumental and very, very participatory in this very discussion. We really appreciate you, dear listener out there. This is the time for us to actually leave the studio and say to you bye. But before I say my final bye, I want the party star to say one or two.
Do have a blissful week ahead and have hope in God that God can work out things in Nigeria when we Nigerians surrender to Him.
Well, that is, the barrister is becoming a pastor this morning. Well, I will say the same to you. I'm just going to borrow what he said. From him to you and me to you, that is all that he said is from me too. God bless you. Have the best of today and go out there and prosper. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same station. Bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion?